Yes, how's it going, guys? Hope you're well. My name is QUYYN and it's a pleasure for me to bring this sourcing module to you guys today. A little bit about myself. I've been living and working in China since 2010, so I've been sourcing, developing, manufacturing products for over 14 years now. In that time, I've designed, developed, sourced over 2,500 products, visited more than 500 factories, and attended more than 24 or possibly 25 Canton fairs. That's led me to work with different brands, retailers, and licenses, such as the NBA, the Olympics, United Nations, as well as a lot of big box retailers in UK, Europe, and the US, as well as helping a lot of Amazon and Shopify private label sellers as well. And I do have a YouTube channel just called Sourcing with QUYYN. So I've got a lot of videos on supply chain, product development, all that sort of fun stuff. But in today's video, I want to share with you my absolute top strategies of how to find the best suppliers on platforms like Alibaba.com. And also, when we find them, how do we communicate with them in a way that builds leverage that makes them want to work with us? And how do we find the manufacturers that align with the size of our brand as well? So we're really going to go into the details in a live screen share example. So before we get into it, everyone's quite familiar with Alibaba.com, which is a fantastic resource. There's also other resources you could be using as well. Some people like globalsources.com. There's also madeinchina.com. And my favorite way also is attending the Canton Fair, something that you can do in person. But if you're just starting out online, and the Canton Fair also has its own online sourcing platform as well, which is a little bit more difficult and trickier to navigate, but worth checking out as well. But if you do have the time, I would highly recommend checking out the Canton Fair in person. But for today's episode, we're going to utilize Alibaba.com to see how we can find the best suppliers. So let me just share my screen, and I want to walk through with you guys everything I would do step by step to find the best suppliers on Alibaba.com. So when we go to the Alibaba.com homepage, you'll see it's split by products and manufacturers, right? And the most common mistake I see people making is that they just search by products, not by manufacturers. And I want to show you this is a problem. So if we take an example like blue light blocking glasses, and today I'm going to show you a couple of examples, but let's start with blue light blocking glasses, right? Quite a normal thing that we would be looking for. I've got a pair right here, use it all the time. So nice and simple product. As we scroll down, we can see that these products all look relatively similar, but we can source them for $1, here it's $6, here's 89 cents, here's 56 cents, here's $2.55. So the prices are ranging like 10x. We can get it for 89 cents, but we can also get it for, $20 here. But they all kind of look the same. So a lot of people are incentivized to sort of go for the cheapest product, but going for the cheapest product might align you with a terrible supplier. So rather than searching by products, I would go back and search by manufacturers, and then now search for the same thing. So if we click on manufacturers here, now you can see it's highlighted. When we type the same thing, blue light blocking glasses, hit search. It's now telling Alibaba to shortlist suppliers for us rather than the products, right? And the most important thing about using Alibaba.com is to align yourself with the top manufacturers. And once we find the top manufacturers, then we can start to negotiate the price. But no point to negotiate the price with a terrible low quality supplier. Much better to negotiate it with a very good supplier. And now I'm going to show you how I would find those. So the most important thing to highlight, and it auto highlights it for you when you search by manufacturer, but you just want to double check that here you see verified manufacturers. And what that means is that a third party like an Intertek, SGS, TUV has gone in and verified that that manufacturer is who they say they are. So they'll see how many years they've been in business, which markets they supply, how many machines they have in their factory, what quality control equipment they have, how many certificates they have in their factory and for their products. So a lot of very good information. We now have a lot of eyes and ears inside the factory of what they're capable of, and it's been verified by a third party. We're not just taking their word for it. So that's the first thing I would check, verified manufacturers. Then after that, I would select trade assurance here on the left, which basically means that our payments are protected. So if we wanted the red lens here, but they give us a yellow lens, then we can get that refunded because the manufacturer didn't make to our standards. So that's just what that trade assurance is. It gives you, especially for your first order, a very good safety net that you're going to get exactly what you want. So as we scroll down here, I'm going to look at management certification, which this is quality certification on the factory. And I always select ISO, which is a quality standard, and then BSCI, which is Business Social Compliance Initiative. So those are two common ones. Depending on what product you search for, you'll see a lot more, but those are the two sort of standard ones that I always go for, right? The product certification, I'm not too bothered about right now. So now it's like shortlisted the list of suppliers for us, which are verified. We have trade assurance and the factory have the right certification. So now as I scroll down the list, the key things I'm going to be looking out for is the first word in the company name is the city or the province in which that factory is located. And if I've never done this product before, I want to know what is the main area which specializes in the product so I can make sure that I'm sourcing it from the right place. Because in China and the Far East, there are certain regions which specialize in different products. For example, electronics, majority of them will be made in Shenzhen. For backpacks, majority of them will be made in a city called Shenzhou. So I want to find out what is the city which specializes in glasses. So as we scroll down here, I can see Wenzhou, Yiwu, Linhai, Wenzhou again. So it seems that Wenzhou is an area which specializes in glasses. So that's going to be the area which I start my focus. I'm going to sort of highlight by Wenzhou. Then after that as well, this is very, very important depending on the size of seller that you are, right? So if you're just getting started and you're like, hey, I want to trial this item. I only want to do, 200, 300 pieces. I want to test this out. Then you see here, under the company name, it says 70 plus staff. Here it says 150 staff. Here it says 90 staff. Here it's 270. Based on the size of your company, if you just want to do a small trial order, you're much more likely to get it with a company which has less number of employees, right? So the smallest one that we saw here is like 70 staff. I'm sure if we scroll down the list, we'll find some smaller ones, right? But I would not go to a company which has, okay, so this one's got 20 staff, right? And then this one has 270. Now, if you go to the company that has 270 staff and you say that, now just imagine those 270 staff across 10 different production lines. So you got 27 people per production line, for example. And then you tell them, look, I want just 50 pieces or 100 pieces made, they're less likely to entertain your order. They still might do it, but they're less likely. But if you have a smaller factory of 20 employees and you say, look, I just want 100 pieces or 200 pieces, they're much more likely to work with you. And that works in reverse as well. If you're a very big company, then you want to align yourself to a company which has higher staff, higher square foot location, etc. So that's just something to be mindful of while you're making your decision, because you can see here you have so much choice of who to use, who to work with, right? All right, so let's check out one of these companies, right? So let's look at Wenzhou Sopal Optics. So if we click on view profile here, it's going to take us to their page. And we talked about the importance of verified information. So we can see here all their verified capabilities. So if I click here, all verified capabilities, I can see BSCI certificate, I can see ISO, CE for the product. They have testing instruments. And if you don't know what any of these are, just hover your mouse over and the information will tell you what it has. They have quality traceability, on-site material inspection, full customization. That might be important for you if you're wanting to customize glasses. Also minor customization, so you can ask them what products they're currently doing and then what tweaks you can do on top of that. And then again, what's really important is that you see this verified thing, you can see images and videos inside the factory which are real, right? So let's look at their production, right? There's 25 photos of their production line, and you can see here the types of machinery that they have. So this type of machinery and tooling is very, very expensive, and you can see they have a lot of it. So this is a big factory, and you don't necessarily have to know all these machines do, but it could be quite good for you to understand and to ask, right? So you could take a screenshot of this machine and say, hey, I was looking at the images of your factory and I noticed these big machines. Could you explain exactly what that does? Because we're involved in customization and we have high quality standards for our brand. I'd love to know the full extent of how we can work together in partnership together. And they'll be very, very happy that you've gone through the effort of detailing and analyzing their company store rather than just saying, hey, what's your price? What's your MOQ? So again, it's not easy to know what these particular machines do, but it's good for you to ask if you're not sure. But all I'm seeing from these verified images of the factory is that this is a very professional and good factory to work with. And that was to be expected based on our search criteria, because when we started searching, we didn't just search by products, go for the cheapest price. And then those types of suppliers might be resellers, or they might just be someone with a very, very small workshop. But we're aligning with a top factory right now, and we can see that from these images. And then as we scroll down, this is probably one of the most important things I like to pay attention to. It says the company which verified them, which is SGS Group, which is a very reputable company. You can see their CE certificates here, their factory documents. You can click there, view it, download it. You can see that company has been registered since 1998. And remember, when we were looking at these guys on Alibaba, it said 16 years here, right? There's 16 years, but that is 16 years that they've been on Alibaba. And here they have been exporting for 26 years. So that's very, very good information to know how long the company has been established for. And that's one of the other criteria I look at when selecting a supplier, because go back to this list, I always look at the number of years, right? So this one's got 4 years, this one's got 16 years, and this one's only got 1 year that they've gone Alibaba, right? So I'm more incentivized to work for a company which has been on Alibaba for 5+ years, because it means that they've got a lot of experience exporting products, dealing with different customers, dealing with certifications, understanding quality issues. So they've had all those issues, they've resolved it, and they're very, very familiar with export. But a company which has only been on Alibaba for 1 year doesn't give me a lot of confidence that, you know, they've had a lot of experience. So you can see how many years they've been on Alibaba and then double check how many years they've been in business, right? Then we can see all their certification here. And then as we scroll down as well, one of the main things I pay attention to is which markets they supply. And why this is important is you can see your main markets: North America 30%, Western Europe 30%. So 60% of their exports go to North America and Europe, right? And why that's important is that, you know, Europe and America have very, very high standards for their quality, for their certification and things like that. But if I looked at the trade background and 100% of their exports went to South America or the African market or domestic Chinese market, then I would be concerned that you guys don't really know what quality standards are in our market, right? We have a different tolerance for returns and quality and stuff like that than what other regions do. So that's a very, very important thing to pay attention to, the markets that they supply. So look how much information we just got, right? And you can, if you want to find out even more, you can click on Visit Store here, and then you can see a lot more of their products and how many languages that they speak. You can see their highlighted products and a lot of information you can get on the outside of their factory and things like that. You can really dive deep into this, but we got a lot of information just by looking at their Alibaba page, right? The final thing I like to do is hover my mouse over products, because you want to deal with a manufacturer that specializes in that product. So when we hover over products, we see blue light blocking glasses, which is what we're looking for, sunglasses and different materials, acetate, metal, custom sunglasses, optical frames, kids glasses, reading glasses. So this is a factory which specializes in glasses, which is great. But if I hovered my mouse over products, and this is probably what we would have seen if we clicked on one of those factories when we were looking at searching just by price. If I saw, you know, fidget spinner, iPhone cable, phone stand, and then blue light blocking glasses, I'm like, you guys aren't specializing in this product. You're just selling hot products. But you can really understand what factory specializes in once you hover your mouse over products. So that was our way of searching by suppliers, qualifying them, understanding, and to summarize, we searched by verified manufacturers, we selected trade assurance, We selected ISO and BSCI. We then looked at the region of who specializes in glasses. We then selected the supplier based on how many years they've been on Alibaba, as well as how many workers that they have in the factory. Then once we selected them, we then qualified that they have the right products. And then we looked at all of their verified information to see which markets they supply and how many years they've been exporting. So we've just gained so much information, as well as images of their production line, just in a few minutes, right, of doing a deep Alibaba analysis. Now, what I really want to do is share with you how I would write to one of these suppliers. But actually, before I do that, I've just given you a quick example of blue light blocking glasses. And now I want to give you like a little bit more of a complex product. So let's go back to Alibaba.com, because blue light blocking glasses is quite a simple one. Let's take one such as a outdoor pizza oven, right? So outdoor gas pizza oven, right? And let's just hit search. And this is a slightly more complex product. So I want to show you like the sort of things I'd be looking for. And actually, right, to the first point, if we were to search this by products, I just want to show you the number of results we would get, right? So if we do outdoor gas pizza oven, and this is where a lot of people get overwhelmed. So if we hit search, crazy, right? $3,500 and then $57. But if we scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, see there, it's got over 14 pages of results, right? And there's probably, I don't know, 20, 50 results per page, maybe more. So that's giving us, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of results, right? Now, if we go back to manufacturers and we go outdoor pizza oven, oh, it was gas, outdoor gas pizza oven, hit search. And then we go through the same steps. So we select verified, trade assurance. And then as we scroll down here, we're going to go for BSCI and ISO again. Yeah. And notice there's a lot of different standards for pizza ovens, as there should be, compared to blue light blocking glasses. So now that we've selected verified trade assurance and our factory certification, if we scroll to the bottom of the page, see there, we've only got 2 pages now. There's 2, that just shows you how many suppliers we just removed, right? So we had 49 pages when we searched by products and didn't select any criteria. And we have 2 pages once we selected our criteria of what we're looking for. So that just gives you an example of all the bad suppliers you're filtering out just by selecting this criteria on the left. And then now, applying the same things that we learned about the blue light blocking glasses, let's find the region which specializes in this product. And if you're not familiar with what these regions are, you can just go to Google Maps and type in Guangdong. And if you'll do that, you'll see that Guangdong is actually the province, right? So here I'm seeing Guangdong, Foshan, which Foshan is a city in Guangdong. Guangdong again, Jiangmen again is a city within Guangdong. Dongguan again. So all of the Dongguan, Foshan, all of these cities are in that region. So that's good information that we're sourcing from the right place, right? And then again, 10 years, 670 staff, 270 staff. And you should also note that this is actually the same company, Guangdong Haishan Smart Kitchen. So they actually have a couple of listings there. I'm not sure why, but just be mindful of that, make sure you're not reaching out to the same company twice. So we can take any of these companies, for example, and again, we're going to analyze their verified information. So we click view profile. And the good thing about that process and
anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon, Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USPTO, từ Thailand Ten, từ Jungle Scout, Logistics và Warehouse. Xem hình thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.
Selecting that criteria, it's aligning us with already good suppliers, so it really reduces our margin for error. So as we're looking at these capabilities, look how many certifications these guys have: BSCI, FSC, ISO 14001, ETL, and if you don't know what these are, I would Google them as well, because ETL is a very, very important electrical certification that Intertech issues. And if I'm buying outdoor pizza ovens, which let's just say they cost $100 or $200, if I'm working with a factory which has got the necessary certification, which has done all the compliance and all the testing and understands the standards, that's a huge bonus, right? And if I'm purchasing one of their existing models, the fact that they already have the certification doesn't means that I don't need to do it as well. I can add my brand name onto their certification, so long as I don't make any changes to the product, apart from adding your brand and your logo and things like that. So that's a big, big bonus to have. Again, we can look at their production line. And this is just interesting to see as well, because you can look at, like, we had, I don't know, maybe 20 good factories to select from. We can open up all of their pages and then look at all their factory information and decide who is the best one that we feel we want to work with. Same process, we scroll down. They've been going since 2015. They've also supplied North Europe, Southern Europe, and North America, right? So not as much in North America. So for that reason, they might not be a suitable supplier for you. So this has armed us with a lot of criteria in how to assess who is a good quality factory to work with. Now, let's just select one final one, because I want to show you now how I would reach out to this factory and how I would message them, right? So let's go for the top one, this big one, Guangzhou Haishan Smart Kitchen. So if we go to your profile, when you go all the way, so you can click here, chat now to the supplier or send inquiry. So if we go to send inquiry, this is where I would be writing the message, right? If you have a specification sheet for your product, which is something that if you know what you want to source and you put, right, my pizza oven is these dimensions, this steel material on the top, this aluminum legs, it must have this rotating device, the gas heater must come from this side, we use this gas cartridge. If you have all that information, you want to put all of that on a specification sheet and then add that as an attachment. And then when you're reaching out to these factories, you're just getting them to quote what you want. And then you can really compare apples with apples, right? So they're all quoting on the same thing. But if you're not sure what product you want to source yet, you can also utilize the product information and the products that they have in their catalog already, right? And you can see what products they have by going to click on products and then view more, and you can view their entire product range. So see, search this store. If there's a particular type of pizza oven that you want, you can just type in outdoor and it'll bring up all their outdoor pizza ovens. So you can also browse their catalog, and you can also message them and ask them to send you their catalog as well. But going back to the reach out message, right? I want to, this is obviously a very big factory, 675 staff. It's been established for a long time. I want to come and place an order for, let's just say 300 pizza ovens. If I write them a message, say, hey, I'm QUYYN, interested in your pizza ovens. I want to order 300. This is the style that I'm interested in. What would be your best price? Just bear in mind that these factories receive messages from, I don't know, maybe 50, 60, 100 customers every single week. So the purpose of our opening message is that we want to really stand out. We really want to jump to the top of their message pile so that they're very, very interested to work with us. So I would do my opening message in a 3-part way. I would introduce myself and why I would be a good customer for them. I would mention why I chose to work with the factory, why I've selected you. And then I would list some product information so I can get pricing, right? So when I introduce myself, right, I would say, hey, my name's QUYYN. I've had a passion for pizzas for 15 plus years. And let's say you have a plan for launching the brand. You can say, I work with the biggest pizza influencers, or you can say KOLs, which is key opinion leader in China. I work with the biggest pizza influencers and KOLs in the United States. And by the way, all you have to do is find the top trending pizza videos on TikTok, on Instagram, reach out to those influencers and say, I'm developing a brand new outdoor pizza oven. I would love to send you a sample. I would love to know your thoughts. And if you like the oven so much, then it would be great if you could post once the product is live. And you could also offer some sort of affiliation or something to them. And that way you're now connected with the top pizza influencers, right? And now you're sharing that information with the factory, because if you're just doing this product for the first time, you don't necessarily have like the sales velocity to show them, look, we're doing $1 million in pizza ovens. So if you're starting from scratch, you can say, hey, I'm working for the biggest pizza KOLs and pizza oven influencers in the United States, and I'm excited about launching this product. Now, if you've launched other businesses before, whether it be online, offline, you can also share some experience of what you bring to the table, because they're also backing the buyer. They're backing you, the person, to be like, this person will be successful. The more successful they are, the more likely, more products are likely to sell together, the more they want to work with you. So for example, I've done a lot of work with the NBA, and whenever I'm talking to suppliers, if I ask them like, do you like basketball? And they say yes, I'll show them a photo of the product I've done for the NBA and some photos with me and the players. And then they know that I'm good at what I do, so they're more incentivized to work with me. So what are those things that are unique about you and your either previous business or existing business, which makes them want to work with you? And you can always lean back on influencers and KOLs, because that's another sales channel, right? So you can say, hey, my name is Kian Gozari. I've got a passion for pizzas. I work with the biggest pizza influencers and KOLs in this space. We're also planning to sell this product online and offline. We've had successful Amazon stores that we've been a part of before, and we're going to launch this very successfully. And we are looking to align with the best pizza oven manufacturers in China, which is why I came across your factory. Introduction paragraph. Next, I would say the reason I chose your factory, and we're just using information that we're finding from their Alibaba page, is that I can see that you have the BSCI certificate. That's great to see that quality is really high importance for you. I can see that you have the UL certificate as well, so you're compliant with all the latest electronic standards as well. Quality standards are very, very important for our company, which is why it's great to work with you as well. I can see that you have 675 staff within your company, which is great because we have high aspirations to scale. So we like to work for a manufacturer which can scale with us as well, be part of our growth, and we'll build a very long-term big business together in partnership together. And those words, long-term and partnership, are very, very important for the suppliers as well, because they want to know that you're not just going to work with them for 1 year and move to another supplier. We say words like long-term and partnership. That's the way they like to work as well. And then you can select any images from their production line. And it's great to see that you have this particular machine. I would love to know, we're also keen product developers, and we're going to be working lots of new items. So I look forward to visiting your factory in person sometime soon. Regardless if you have a plan to visit China or not, you can mention to them that you want to visit the factory, because then they are more likely to take you a lot more seriously as a customer, because the serious buyers do visit China as well. And then you can say, here's the specification sheet I've attached on the product, and it'd be great if you could give me your best price for this product. And I've not even mentioned the quantity. I've just asked them for their best price. If they want to impose a quantity on that, they'll let me know a price breakdown for 300 pieces, 500 pieces, 1,000 pieces, or they would say that we really want to work with you. Let's start the business together, and they will work around small quantities. So that is the template that I would use for reaching out to these suppliers. Intro about ourselves, intro about why we selected that company. And that's really important because it shows that you've read their product page and you've properly, carefully selected them, so they know that you know what you're looking for. So you've qualified yourself as a good buyer. And then product information finally. And just again, compare that to a customer which says, hey, what's your best price? You've analyzed their factory and you've given them feedback of why you like them, and you've qualified yourself. They're way more likely to work with you. And then you, in terms of how many suppliers we reach out to, you can see here, there's quite a lot of suppliers to select from. So what I like to do is I go through like a funnel, and I go through 10, 5, 3, 1, right? 10 suppliers that I like, and you can actually press this like love heart button here, which favorites the supplier. So you can go back and look at your favorites. So I'm going to select 10 that I favorite based on the criteria that we looked at. Then from having a bit of like looking at their company profile information, like if one had only supplied North American market 5% of their exports, maybe I'll put them to the bottom of the pile. I'll choose my top 5. So from 10, I'll narrow it to 5, and I'll write that open message to 5 suppliers. You can copy and paste most of it and then just change the information about that particular factory. And then from 5, I'm going to narrow it down to 3 that I want samples from based on the communication that I've had. And then from the 3, I'm going to select 1 which I order from. So it's 10, 5, 3, 1. So I'm going to go down this list to select my 10, communicate with 5 samples from 3, and order from 1. And then that process can be repeated regardless if you're sourcing blue light blocking glasses or if you are sourcing outdoor pizza ovens. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that live walkthrough of Alibaba.com. As discussed, right? If you're just getting started, Alibaba.com is probably the best platform for you to analyze the factories, look at pricing, communicate with them. But if you've been in the game for a little while and you really want to take your sourcing to the next level, the next best thing I would suggest if you want to make like price improvements and quality improvements is visiting the Canton Fair. And the Canton Fair, for those of you who don't know, is the largest import-export exhibition in the world. It's in Guangzhou, China. It happens twice a year, April and May, and then October and November, right? And you have over 26,000 exhibitors there, over 3 phases, showing every category of product you can possibly imagine. So if you're into like sourcing products like I am, this place is like Disneyland, right? And the reason I love the Canton Fair is that you can touch and feel and see samples of new products in real time. So comparing it to Alibaba, which is, as we looked at, is still a fantastic option. But when you're in the fair, you can pick up a sample. You can be like, right, this feels a little bit light. I want to increase the weight. I want to increase, I want to add a handle here. I want to add a waterproof coating. How much would that cost? And I'm building relationships in real time with suppliers. I'm able to see, you know, what new products they've been working on, what certifications they have, what areas do they really have expertise in, what can I learn from them? I can take the sample, I can test it out, I can go back the next day, I can talk with them in a little bit more detail, I can go out for dinner with the supplier, I can quiz them a little bit more, I can go and visit the factory afterwards as well. So that's why it's so important. And a lot of people think about, like, you know, cost of going to the fair. You know, you've got to account for a flight ticket to China, hotel in China, but also imagine like what's the cost of the samples. So blue light blocking glasses that we looked at, if I need to send this by courier, you know, maybe it'll cost, I don't know, $30, something like that. Not too bad. Sample probably costs $50. So for $8, cool, I'll get my samples from Alibaba.com. Great. But if we looked at outdoor pizza oven, if I wanted to develop a sample of the outdoor pizza oven, we're probably looking at over $1,000. And if I wanted to ship that outdoor pizza oven to test it out, you know, we're probably looking at another $1,000, right? Because it's a very large, bulky, heavy item. So depending on your item, it might be a lot more cost efficient for you to go on Alibaba.com, find your suppliers that you want to work with, have them prepare samples for you, have them ready for you in their showroom and in the factory, take a flight to China, go and see the products, analyze who you want to work with, and then qualify and choose and select your sample based on what they've prepared for you. So you'll actually save a lot of time, and you'll also save thousands of dollars in terms of cost, right, on selling and making the samples. But the same you can do at the Canton Fair as well. So the Canton Fair official website is cantonfair.org.cn, and you can attend the Canton Fair online or offline, right? So as we looked at Alibaba, the user interface of that is a lot better. And, you know, here on the Canton Fair website, we can search by product, we can search by supplier. But honestly, the search process on this website is not great. I do have videos on my YouTube channel navigating like how to use it. But for the reasons I just mentioned, the best thing you can do is attend the Canton Fair in person. And if you want to see what an insight to that looks like, you can head over to my YouTube channel, Sourcing with QUYYN, and I've got videos here on tips for the Canton Fair, shows you inside, the questions to ask at a fair, tips for trade shows, new products to look at. So there's a lot of cool videos there if you're interested to learn more about sourcing as well. That is the Canton Fair website, as we discussed, and then it's a great place to take your sourcing to the next level. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration of Alibaba.com, of the Canton Fair, and there's many other sourcing platforms that we could be looking at as well. But as long as we apply the same principles of which we covered in today's lesson, you will have a fantastic and incredible sourcing journey. I'm always here. You can connect with me on Instagram, QUYYN_JG, or feel free to leave a comment on a YouTube episode, and I reply to all my comments individually as well if you have any questions. All the best, and look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take care.
Anh chị đang bán hàng trên Amazon, Skyrock cung cấp các dịch vụ dành cho các nhà bán hàng trên Amazon với mức giá cực kỳ ưu đãi như đăng ký brand với USPTO, tuần theo link thêm, tôi chơi discount, logistics và warehouse. Xem thêm thông tin chi tiết dưới phần mô tả nhé.